Welcome back to Broken Bobby's Transformation Page. If you are new to the page, in 1990 I became involved in the drug gang world. From 92 to '06, I spent a lot of time incarcerated. I tell these stories to let you know it don't have to be you. If you're young and thinking about trying something or you're figuring out how to get out, these are my stories of this lifestyle and how it affected me, and eventually I got out and transformed my life. So let's get into today's story. All right, guys, welcome back to Broken Bobby's Transformation. As you can see by the thumbnail and the title, this is mandatory yard wood. So I'm going to get into what that means and what the deal is with that, basically. So now that could be mandatory yard or day room, depending on the situation, but it's typically cell living if it's day room, and it's could be yard if it's something going on the yard. Most places in the California Department of Corrections, yard is mandatory at least once a day, and some places it might be morning yard or it all depends because people have jobs, people go to education, there's a lot of things that you other obligations I guess you may have while you're in there, and at some point you need to get out on the yard daily. Like, you can't just go hide out in your cell like that. That's not the get down. So before we go any further, if you are new to the channel, subscribe, smash that like button, drop a comment, let me know what your experiences have been, and share this video if you know somebody that may enjoy this sort of content. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so that when I drop a new video or I go live, you'll be notified and you can jump on. And also, you can join the channel if that's something that interests you. There's memberships. You can hit that join button and check that out, and there'll be perks with that. So anyways, back to the topic at hand, mandatory yard or day room. So usually when you hear this, depending on how connected you are on that yard, there's not going to be an explanation. It's just you need to get your ass up, get suited and booted, and get out to the yard on the next unlock. Typically, this is something that's called when there's tension. Maybe something happened. Some of these facilities are huge, and there could have been a fight in the kitchen or something between another group and your own, and we don't know how this is all going to work out. So we want everybody out there so that if it kicks off, we have the best numbers possible. A few examples of mandatory yard or day room. When I was in Riverside County, and I tell this story about when we kicked it off over a table, and that was a mandatory day room situation, and I've already told that story, so I'll try to drop a link in the description so you can check that out if you want to. There was another time in Riverside County, I was at Southwest Detention Center, and I had been on a sick one on the streets. So, it's finally time to get some sleep and catch up. With the wood program, we had 72 hours to start programming, so I was trying to take advantage of that and get as much sleep as I could. My cellie woke me up and said, "Hey, it's mandatory day room." I said, "Oh, great." But I guess the point of this is, and the reason I came up with this topic today is because I've been sick with bronchitis, as a lot of you already know. And, in the free world, we can have sick days, right? We can stay home, we can stay in bed, we can take cough medicine and do all that sort of stuff. But in there, don't matter what the situation is. If it's a mandatory day room or a mandatory yard, you are going to get suited and booted and you are going to head out. So another example of mandatory yard, I was in McFarland MCCF, up there in the Delano area in the Central Valley. And there had been a fight in the kitchen. And basically, what happened is it was an issue with the Southerners. And there was a fight in the kitchen, and it had been said, amongst the powers that be, that it was a dead issue. It was a one-on-one. And, but the thing is, to be perfectly honest with you, in a lot of these types of situations, when there is an issue, one group will tell the other group that it's a dead issue, and in hopes that when, the next yard comes and they're ready to kick things off, not everybody comes out. So, I mean, with the wood pile, not that it really mattered that much because we were outnumbered everywhere, but, we all came out and it turned out it was a dead issue. So, well, we didn't all come out. And let me get into that portion of the story. So there was a wood from the Paris area, and I think he had he was going to medical or something. And when it's a mandatory yard, it don't matter what you got going on. You get, like I've said it over and over again, you get suited and booted and you get out there to the yard, because if it goes down, it's all hands on deck. And he chose not to. He chose to go to medical. So this was considered, he was being a coward, basically, is the way it was looked at. And when he came back into the dorm later on that night, 3 guys got on him, and that was that. He was no longer able to program with us, because the thing is, it could be a matter of life or death in there. And if you're not going to have our back, then we're not going to have yours, is basically a general idea with it. So, that's another example. When I was in LA County, now we didn't see yard much there. In Medium North, they had it was almost like a little shoe yard outside, concrete box type of thing. And we would see that a little bit more. As I remember it, I think there'd be however many dorms, and, they'd kick you out to that, or they'd take you out there after a riot type of thing. But it was maybe 50 by 30 concrete box, basically, that you went out into. And, there's a basketball hoop and handballs and stuff like that. But when I was in Supermax in LA County, now that was a yard. I seen that place twice when I was waiting on the chain to go upstate. And this was a big concrete area outside. And, I had never been to prison at this point. So going out onto that yard, basically a bunch of tattooed guys standing around, working out, doing stuff like that. And that's what I had envisioned prison to be. And it was actually pretty close. It was just smaller, a smaller version of what prison would be. So, also in LA County, when you're in the central jail, they take you up on the roof. And there's a basketball court and handball and all that stuff, phones, restrooms. And you go out there for a couple hours. I swear I went out there 3 times in 2.5 months. But, those are some of the places I've been, and some of the things that I've seen, and the thing is, when they say mandatory yard, that's exactly what it is. Like I said, there's no sick days from this. It is what it is. So, the main thing I can say is, family, fitness, and freedom are what helped me to not have to live that sort of lifestyle anymore and have to worry about that call out of mandatory yard. And it can help you as well. If you're new into recovery, welcome. You can do it. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. It's just making one good decision and building on that. That's all you got to do. So I hope everybody's off to a good start of the work week with Monday. And don't look at the mountain. Just start climbing.